Welcome to another edition of The Ride Home with John and Kathy, live from the Salem-Pittsburgh studios. And now here are your hosts, John Hall and Kathy Emmons.
Hey, good afternoon. Thanks for coming along today for the Thursday edition of The Ride Home. Good to be with you here today. We had yesterday off for various reasons, but happy to be back with you live. Kath, good to see you. How are things?
Happy birthday, a day late, John.
Thank you. Always happy to have a birthday.
Very happy to wish you a happy birthday. How was that birthday?
Excellent.
Was it?
Very nice, yeah. Very relaxed.
Glad to hear it.
Very, very enjoyable.
Did you miss being with us on your birthday?
To be honest, no. I love you guys.
That hurts my feelings.
No, it's fine. I mean, everybody likes, you deserve a break today. So I was happy to sit. I sat at home most of the day.
Really?
I did some chores.
And did you have special food? Were there presents? Anything that we should know about?
No, there was just general birthday revelry. Yeah. Yeah.
There was revelry.
Yeah, there was.
See, there was revelry.
From the moment I got up, as a matter of fact. I mean, all day long, just boom. The hits keep on coming. That's how it is. When you reach a certain age, that's how the hits roll.
Because John's just turned 95.
Hey, happy birthday. That was good. What I like about the birthday is that you hear from people that you haven't talked to for a while, right? People call, people text. Yeah. It just, hey, what's going on, man? Happy birthday. I like it very, very much. Always happy to have a birthday.
And a lot of listeners are weighing in on our Facebook page to also give you happy birthday greetings.
Just another year. You chalk it up.
Look, there are people like sending little,
memes.
There are nice greetings for you, John.
Fine.
It took a while for me to decide on what photo to post of you today.
Well, because there's so many that are.
Oh yeah,
so many beautiful.
There
shots
were a lot of contenders.
Right?
There were a lot of contenders. So I decided to go with one that's actually a nice picture of you, as opposed to like an embarrassing thing, right? Which is what I considered first.
Thanks for protecting me.
Cooler heads prevailed.
Yeah, because there's plenty of both. I mean, you do this long enough, there's plenty of humiliation to go around.
Believe me, we've got a lot of humiliating photos.
Yeah, we really do.
I also want to say happy birthday to our friend Megan.
Hey, Meg.
It's her birthday today.
I'm very nice to be connected by one day with Megan.
I love that.
Very fabulous.
I'm very excited. Meg, we love you. Would love to see Meg soon.
Yeah. And you've got a birthday coming up a little later on as well.
I sure do.
I mean, what the heck?
It's a huge month.
Birthday cavalcade.
It's a giant month, John.
Anyway, good to be back. I don't want to talk about you and your medical condition. We'll just let that go by.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Best wishes. I'm glad you're here.
Thank you. Happy to be here.
Very nice indeed. All right, a full day, right? There's a lot going on in this world. And just try to remain calm, everyone. God is in control. And when you think about the headlines, please, let's go there first. So without any further ado, Kath, give us the news stories of the day, the top 4 at 4.
For Wednesday, May 5th, it's not Wednesday, it's Thursday.
Yeah. Thank you.
Sorry, friends.
That's when you take a day off in the middle of the week, it's kind of nice.
Yeah, it is May 5th, confusing. Though. All right, yeah, it is confusing. May 5th, 2022. Number 1, Colombia extradited, I'm going to guess at his name.
This is a bad news story. Right?
Dairo Antonio Usuga David, the alleged head of the feared Gulf clan who had been the country's most wanted drug lord before his capture yesterday. He was extradited to the U.S. who had a $5 million bounty on his head.
Which they paid?
He is accused not only of being the most dangerous drug trafficker in the world, but a murderer of social leaders, abuser of boys, girls, and adolescents, and a murderer of policemen, according to the president of Colombia. The former rural warlord has stayed on the run for more than a decade by corrupting state officials and aligning himself with combatants both on the left and on the right. He was transferred yesterday. Did you see the photographs?
No.
In handcuffs and wearing a helmet and a bulletproof vest from a prison in Bogota.
Wow.
He has long been a fixture on the U.S. Drug Enforcement Administration's most wanted list.
Good. Well, score 1 for the good guys.
Number 2, Sean Williams, John, was only 19 years old when he was accused of killing a man in Brooklyn back in 1993. And though no forensic evidence was ever connected between him and the murder, one woman's testimony that she spotted him at the scene with a gun landed him in prison for 24 years. All along, he's maintained his innocence, and then, several years ago, the witness recanted, saying that Detective Scarcella, a once-renowned homicide detective, coerced her into naming Mr. Williams. The prisoner was eventually released, and as of today, city officials will pay Sean Williams $10.5 million to settle a federal civil rights suit against the former detective and 2 other officers, the largest award so far in a series of wrongful conviction cases spurred by the conduct of the detective.
I mean, all the money in the world will never
That's
bring
exactly
back that
what
time.
he said. Mr. Williams said, quote,
Really?
"No amount of money can give me back the years they took from me." Mr. Williams is now 47 years old. He said, "But I'm going to keep rebuilding my life and looking ahead to a brighter future." Interestingly enough, Detective Scarcella handled some of Brooklyn's most notorious crimes in a unit that handled more than 500 homicides per year. But his reputation began to collapse after one of his most celebrated investigations into the murder, do you remember this, of a Hasidic rabbi in Williamsburg?
Oh, sure.
Unraveled in 2013, and defense lawyers accused him of framing a suspect. And since then, more than a dozen convictions he helped secure have been thrown out.
Wow. So everything is suspect.
Yep.
Which it should be.
Yeah, that's from today's New York Times.
Good.
Number 3. A continuing story locally of harassment, John, has resulted in charges being filed by Pittsburgh police in the Shadyside neighborhood of the city.
These guys.
Rob Pfaffman, age 66, and his wife, Lisa Marie Habestad, 64, have been charged with ethnic intimidation after turning their attentions on their neighbor, Vasily Potanin, a 23-year-old CMU grad student who happens to be the son of Russia's richest business tycoon who has connections with Vladimir Putin. It's a long, involved story that you can read in today's Trib, but let me give you the details of it, or at least the sketch of it. Vasily Potanin bought a house in the wealthy neighborhood of Shadyside, mostly liberal area, right? Then proceeded to put up cheapo pro-Trump signs in his yard, and the neighbors hated it. But the husband and wife who've been charged took it to another level by poking their faces in his windows, yelling slurs at him, and posting all sorts of stuff about him supporting Putin in the war on Ukraine on social media. Potanin says he doesn't support the war. He doesn't support Putin. He's estranged from his billionaire father, and he loves America, quote, "because you don't get to discriminate against people, even if you don't like them." And lastly, Potanin isn't a citizen, so he doesn't even get the vote.
Oh. All right. It's the American way.
And number 4, Walter Orthman just set the Guinness World Record for working at the same company for 84 years and 9 days. He is 100 years old. He started working at this company when he was just 15 and walked barefoot to get there. But he was always an excellent student, enthusiastic about learning, and had to start working to help his family due to financial hardship. He said it was an honor and a privilege to be recognized by Guinness. He said it's something that he never imagined achieving. He still exercises every day, is still mentally fit, and turned 100 on April 19th. That is your top 4.
Very nice.
At 4.
Will he get a gold watch? What comes with that?
He said the most important part of the business he likes to share with younger people. You want to hear?
Sure.
Stay up to date and adapt.
All right. It's good advice. All right. Does he have a Twitter account?
I don't think he does.
Come on, stay up to date, my friend.
But he also said it helps to work in an area where you feel motivated.
Yeah. What's he do for a living? What's he?
It's
the business? It's insurance.
No, it's not
Shoemaking?
insurance. No, it's a
Candy corn.
It's a textile company, John.
Textiles. All right.
101.5 WORD.
Coming up on Love Worth Finding.
Do you want to live in hope on the edge of eternity?
The book of the Revelation is often ignored, sometimes debated, sometimes discounted, but God says this is the blessing book. If you want a blessing, God says here it is. Read it and heed it, and you're going to have a blessing.
Hear Adrian Rogers' series, The Edge of Eternity, this month on Love Worth Finding.
Tonight at 11 on 101.5 WORD.
I'm Doug Mastriano. I know something about fighting for freedom. My 30 years of military service showed me how much we took our freedoms for granted. When the lockdowns came and the left trampled our rights, I was one of the few to stand up for freedom. I fought for the integrity of our elections. I fought for medical freedom, to choose what medicine we put in our bodies, and for the rights of Pennsylvanians to operate and conduct business. I fought for our elderly and our special needs children. And I fought for parents' rights to raise their kids without indoctrination in school. Now the spirit of our Walk as Free People movement has caught fire. I'm Doug Mastriano, and I'm running for governor because this election is about freedom. Join me to restore freedom, revive our families, rebuild our economy, and to get us back to greatness. Visit DougForGov.com. That's DougForGov.com. And let's take our state back.
Paid for by friends of Doug Mastriano. Creation Festival 2022 is your summer destination. June 29th through July 2nd at Agape Farm, Shirleysburg, PA. Featuring Zach Williams, We the Kingdom, Bethel Music, Newsboys, Dante Bowe, Red, and many more. Creation Festival, a tribute to our Creator. Come for the day or the entire event and go home changed. Compassion International presents Creation Festival. Get half-off tickets now while they last, exclusively at wordfm.com/creation.
The Mechanical Services Company. Trusted, proven, preferred for all mechanical systems, heating and air. Our team has got you covered. Maintenance, service, installs, and repair. Call us when you need comfort. Online at tmschvac.com. The Mechanical Services Company. Trusted, proven, preferred.
What is a warrior? At Portersville Christian School, it's more than a team name. A warrior is taught to serve, to passionately model the love of Christ toward neighbor, community, and world. To learn as they cultivate academic excellence and a lifelong love of learning from kindergarten to senior year. And to lead through Christian character and integrity. Are you a warrior? Discover Portersville Christian School just 15 minutes north of Cranberry, where warriors are made at ourpcs.org.
Okay, so this is weird. So yesterday, we had the day off. Circumstances conspired for us. You were doing one thing,
I was having a colonoscopy.
Okay, there you go. I was trying to be polite, okay?
Yeah, you guys. Wasn't like I was going to Kennywood.
Yeah, I said you were doing one thing.
Yeah, I was doing one thing. That's for sure.
Yeah, okay. So Kath had a colonoscopy, and it was my birthday. So Kath said, hey, my colonoscopy's been rescheduled. And I was like, oh. She said, it's on May 4th. I was like, oh, isn't that nice? May 4th just happens to be my birthday. Happy birthday to me. So I took the day off. Here's the weird thing. Yesterday afternoon, and I don't know, I did pretty much nothing. For long stretches, I sat on the couch, listened to no radio. I didn't have my phone, no laptop, no television.
Were you reading a book?
No.
You were reading a newspaper?
I sat there in my own thoughts for long stretches. An hour, hour and a half.
Really?
Yeah. Now, this is not something that, look,
I can't picture. You are usually
perpetually in motion.
In incredibly fast motion.
Yeah. Yesterday, for
like bordering on ADHD sometimes. Christy, am I making things up?
I guess so.
Thank you.
Whatever. I just think about that. We spend a lot of time away from the office, right?
You mean in life in general?
Yeah. I mean, in March of 2020, management across the board said non-essential personnel stay home. Mm-hmm. Top of the list
was John and
Kathy. Stay home. You're not essential. So we set up a Zoom shop and we broadcast live every day for more than a year. It was weird.
It was weird. Looking back, it's hard to believe we did that.
I know. Successfully, I would say.
Yeah.
I guess it's open to interpretation.
Right.
But we were on the air every day. So yesterday, I'm home by myself for the first time in a long time. My wife's at work. My kids are at college. And I was there alone. I liked it, but I do not want to go back to that.
Me neither.
It's too weird. I need to be here.
Me too.
It made me a little anxious. I had to sort of settle down into it's okay, it's just temporary kind of thing. The world continues to go on.
Because it was taking you back to those times when we were working at home.
I kind of had like weird COVID PTSD, whatever that might be. And I never had COVID. But, just the experience, which we've all experienced. Now, for the first time, I sort of chart the health of what's going on here locally, just by a very small sample, which is the parking lot here at 7 Parkway Center. Now, there were many, many years that you could not get a parking space in front of our building.
Oh, for sure.
It's a big parking spot. You park down below and then just walk up. Fine, no big deal. Came back after COVID.
There was
I could have parked in the lobby.
Nobody here.
Yeah.
There was nobody here.
All that to say, you see something today about workers' unwillingness to come back to the office.
Listen, according to the People at Work 2022, a global workforce view. It's a report from MarketWatch. It said that nearly 2/3 of respondents, that's 64%, say they have already or would consider looking for a new job if their employer forced them to return to the office full time.
50%. I mean, I guess, is that?
No, it's not 50%. It's 64%. 64%. And younger workers are the least interested in returning to work full time, as the chart showed.
That sounds like if you're denying yourself extra income because you'd prefer to stay at home, that just feels like a luxury to me.
Well, because you obviously don't need the money if you're willing to do that.
I guess, or just the convenience of not having to buy the clothes, especially not having to do the commute, which is the biggest drawback of it all. The commute that crushes you, even with reduced rush hours, right? Morning and evening rush hours. For me, on the way home, rush hours really diminished, wouldn't you say?
It is diminished. It's still there for me, but it's certainly diminished. Okay, so you are very grateful that you've come back to work. You don't miss working from home?
Well, okay, so yesterday was kind of like this. There it was again. What happened over COVID was so strange. We both broadcast from a spare room.
Yeah.
I was so happy to leave that spare room behind. I was like, the day we came back, when I walked back into that room, I'm like, I don't want to be in this room again, man. Because I lived in that room. It felt like I, ate, slept, and did everything else in that room.
And doing a job like this, I mean, every job has tension in it. Doing a job like this, there's a lot of pressure when you're doing it. And so to me, walking into that spare room in my house, it was just like, it was like a pressure cooker in there.
Yeah.
And I couldn't wait to get out of it.
And I would imagine that most people working from home have to feel the same way.
No, most people working from home do not feel the same way.
About their workspaces.
Well, I don't know, because 64% say they don't want to leave that room at home. Now, I'm going to ask Christy Stockdale, our producer. Christy, you were not working for Word FM at the time.
We came back. We had a new producer.
That's right. But you were working from home during COVID?
I was the entire time. I went into, I worked for a church, so I went into the church maybe like 1 or 2 times a week just to film some videos.
Okay. So where did you work? Like, did you have a specific, like, segregated space for yourself for work?
Yes.
Your basement.
And what was that?
Yes, the basement.
Okay. So, but did
the entire basement.
Okay. Is that also your living space?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. So you were working in your living space.
I didn't mind it.
Okay. So are you one of these people who, if you could, would go back?
Yes, 100%.
Really?
Tell us why.
There's just so much more flexibility when you work from home. So I didn't have to, like you said, go to the commute.
Take a shower.
Well, I did that because, you know me. I'm a germaphobic, grosses me out.
Because you're a human and would like to.
I'm not brushing my teeth today.
That's disgusting.
It is.
I did all of that. But if it was sunny out, I could go take my laptop, sit outside, let Milo run around, and still get my work done.
Right. Okay.
Did you feel motivated?
Yes and no. Sometimes when there's, I don't know, I was working a lot of hours. So when there's 60, 70 hours worth of work, then it's I don't want to do this. But other times, yeah.
You have to be an entrepreneurial type of person to make that work.
You better be.
Yeah. Or it doesn't work.
Right. If you're not accountable to something or someone, it's all going to fall apart.
Yeah. It just doesn't work. Okay. Would you be one of these, when I tell you, Christy, that 64% of people say that they would actually take less money to work from home, would you do that?
No.
No, I wouldn't either.
Neither would I. No, there's
no way.
Right?
No way. Christy, didn't anything kind of get to you psychologically about working and living in the same space?
Not really, no.
Really?
Man, that got to me.
I was looking for medication at every corner.
Whenever I wasn't working, I wouldn't even walk in that room in my house. I wouldn't even go in there.
Yeah.
Because it was too much.
Okay, so then this is the trend, right? This is the new future. If 64% of people say that, and of course, corporate America or worldwide corporations in HR see this, especially for a younger, new generation, they're going to make it work because it's a cost savings for corporate America.
Right. Let's open up the phone, see if anyone wants to call. 800. We have 6, 7 minutes.
Just a few seconds.
Yeah, 800. No, we have 6 minutes. 800-320-8255. 800-320-8255. Would you take less money if you could keep on working from home?
Are you working from home right now?
Are you working from home? Do you like it? Or are you like John and I, and you're thinking, boy, I'd really like to get it's good for me to go to work.
Right.
I'd just be curious if anyone wants to weigh in on this. 800-320-8255 on working from home.
Yeah.
Okay, what if, for another reason, other than I feel like it's not going to be COVID, someone said, okay, you're going to have to go work from home again?
What are you going to do? If they say it, I'm going to do it. Right? I'm not going to leave. No.
So you'd make it work?
Yeah, of course.
So you wouldn't be one of those people that would say, okay, if I have to work from home again, I'm done?
No, I like this job.
So you don't feel that strongly about it?
No, I mean, this is enjoyable to me. I love doing this. This is really... It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of scholarship involved. There's a lot of emotion involved. There's obviously a lot of God involved.
So it depends on...
I would do this no matter where or when.
It depends on how much you like your job. I think that's one thing that's actually not included in this article.
Right.
Is any value judgments about how invested the people feel at work, how appreciated they feel at work, how much they enjoy their job.
Here's the thing. So I've got two kids, like you have two kids. They're both pretty much the same age. They're in their early 20s. Mm-hmm. Look at all you learned from showing up at work. Looking good, being prepared, showing up on time, the social thing, right? All that thing. It made you, in some ways, the person that you are. Every little stepping stone forward. If that's not happening, and if you're like Christy and you're a young person sitting at home in your living room, where's the? I don't know. It's just a weird thing to me. But of course, I think that's the generation as well, right? That everyone's kind of staying at home and they're making it work, and what seems weird to us doesn't seem weird to them. Mm-hmm. All right. We go to the phones?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. All right. Let's go back to the phone. Let's go to the phones. Hey, Lisa, you're live with us here on Word FM. What are your thoughts on this, please?
Actually, I'm in my late 50s, so I've been in the workforce for quite some time.
Yeah.
But I worked from home when my children were younger, and I can say I did not like it.
Yeah.
But working from home now, I absolutely enjoy it. I have a designated room.
Really?
And I also, travel time was an hour and 15 minutes for me.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
So I can get up, shower, get dressed. I still do all that just for the sake of sanity purposes.
Sure.
I'm dressed, I'm showered, brush my teeth, all that stuff. But I could do all that and still get on line and be working sooner than I was if I would have to drive in.
Okay.
So I'm actually giving more time. So I'm all for working from home.
That makes sense.
And I would absolutely take less money.
You would take less money?
I would.
Okay.
And you at an age where I need to take care of I need to be around to take care of them, and I think your priorities change as you get older, and money isn't a priority.
Sure. And Lisa, you did say though you have a designated room.
I do, and when I'm done, I walk out and I shut the door. Now that also is my office, so when I write bills out and things like that, I go in there, but. My computer's off when I'm done working.
Right. Okay,
Got
so
it. Okay,
what
thanks,
about
Lisa.
socialization? I mean, not that you have to be best friends with everybody you work with, but do you miss your coworkers?
I do, but I'm one of those that get on the video whenever we're having calls. So I can see people and I touch base with people. So
they're there.
I think that helps keep me connected.
Yeah, that's good.
Thanks,
okay,
Lisa.
I appreciate that. Okay, let's go back to the phones.
Gene?
We're talking about people working from home. Would you do it if you could? Would you take the pay cut? 800-320-8255. Gene? Yeah. Mm-hmm. Hey, thanks for being with us, Gene. What do you got?
Yeah, no, I would not take less money to work from home. I thought it'd be cool at first, and it was for a while, but when you're in that one room, I was like Kathy, I could not go in that room after. And my clothes were in the spare bedroom. The spare bedroom was my office. And if I had to go in there for clothes, I ran in. I could not stand going in that room anymore.
Yeah.
It just needed people. And I drive from North Huntington all the way out to almost the airport. I'm not saying I like the drive, but I'd rather have the people. I mean, rather have the
That's really good. All right.
I need people.
Thank you,
right?
Gene.
That's very, very good. Let's go back to the phones. Another Lisa is with us. Hey, Lisa, you're live on the air with Kath and myself. What do you got?
Hi. Thanks so much for taking my call. I actually side with Gene. I definitely need to be with breathing human beings in front of my face.
Yeah.
And I can't, I mean, we made it work when we had to with Zoom and with Microsoft Teams, but it's just different. You can't go up and knock on their door and say, hey, can I run this idea by you?
Yep.
You have to make an appointment. You have to send an email. Is it okay? Can I give you a call? Or, and I understand the whole concept of saving money on gas and saving money on your parking permit. and even like doing work in your jammies. But I just really crave that interaction with human beings. So I'm definitely glad to be back to work.
All right.
Very good.
You and me both, Lisa. Thank you.
Lexi, you're with us. Hey, Lexi, you're with us here today. Staying at home or are you going out?
Actually, I just went back to the office for 2 days, and it's been a year since I first started at this company, and it was a breath of fresh air. Before COVID, I was working from home for about 3 years, and I went through a little bit of a depression because of the lack of socialization. So I see the benefit to both of them, but honestly, these past 2 days being in the office, and I think it was more like a reunion. So maybe this is kind of attributing to the fact that, like, we didn't really get that much done. So I'm in my mid-30s, and I see both sides of it. I'm way more productive at home.
You're way more
100%.
productive at home.
Oh, absolutely. And because I think I'm out of that whole, like, younger 20s, all about me phase.
Yeah.
And I'm not lazy. And so, like, I just do way more work.
Than required.
And I tend to put in more hours at home as well.
Yeah, so I did that too.
We did too.
Yeah. I left today at 3 because I'm like, okay, I don't want to deal with traffic. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you take less money to work from home, Lexi?
I did with my other position.
Okay.
I took like $15,000 less, and it was the best decision I ever made.
Okay.
So.
Fabulous.
All right, good
Great
for
phone
you.
call. 800-320-8255. Jay's with us. Hey, Jay. Thanks for coming along. Tell us your thoughts.
Hey, John and Kathy. How are
Jay?
you?
Good. Real good.
Good. Nice to hear from you.
Good. Yeah, I've been working from home for 15, 20 years. As a church planter and thought worker and writer and creative. So I think it depends on the nature of your work. If you're working and doing collaborative work, I want to be in a space where I'm sharing it with others. If I'm doing thought work or doing creative work or making things, oftentimes having people in that space is disruptive and bogs me down.
So you feel like you are in a position where you have enough flexibility to choose?
Yeah. I mean, I've created an integrated life where my work is downstairs and my home life is upstairs, and that's really the old blacksmith style work.
Yeah.
People have done it for centuries.
Yeah. So do you feel like that is part of the way that it's worked so well for you over so many years, is that you have work downstairs and life upstairs?
Yeah, long as I separate those things and have boundaries around it, then it works. Also, it depends on the nature. I'm running a bike shop and a eBay business from my home, so building things and making things and restoring things in my basement, and doing my business downstairs, that's easy to let go. When I'm doing collaborative work or thought work or work with people, that can get really sticky and messy, and people can interrupt you and call you, and so the nature of that's different. And then when I'm working with teams, we have to get stuff done as a group. Then I want to be in a space where it's shared.
Got it. Okay, good.
So I think that depends on the nature of your work.
Right.
Yeah.
How
Okay.
satisfied you are with that,
Yeah, if you like your work, right.
Good to hear from you, Jay.
And the creativity of it all as well. Okay, let's take one more phone call, okay?
Okay.
Is this another Lisa? Oh, we got 3 Lisas in a row. It's like a trifecta. Hey, Lisa.
Hi.
How you doing? It's Lisa Day here on the Ride Home.
How are you?
Real good. Yeah.
I thought it was Cinco de Mayo, but it's Lisa Day.
Tell us your story.
Yes.
What do you think? You're working from home?
So, yes, I work from home 3 days out of the work week, and the other 2 I go into the office, and it seems to work really well for me. I get the best of both worlds. Although I have to say, whenever COVID just hit, we were home 5 days out of the week, and it was just really difficult because I really didn't have an office space, and I just felt like work was invading my personal home, and and so I started getting a little angry. But it seemed like as time went on, I started to get a space on the side for what I needed to do. And my problem was too is going to work. I'm a 45-minute commute.
Yeah.
So it was, and it's all highway, but it really is taxing whenever you have to get up early and get yourself together and take the long ride. And
good weather, bad weather.
My days are usually Thursday and Fridays. I'm in the office, so it's the most crazy in town, with all the travel and everybody's out and going, and it's more difficult to get home on a Friday. So I would rather, I think with your question, would you take a pay cut or, would you take less money? I definitely would if it came to a point where I had to make a choice whether to be in the office 5 days a week.
That's good.
So, wow. Okay.
Thanks a lot, Lise. I really appreciate it.
Okay.
Very interesting.
Unofficial survey here.
Yeah.
Most people say they would take less money to stay at home.
Yeah. Don't tell HR that. Yeah. Right? What the heck? All right. Thanks for everybody who called. The Lises, Lexi, and Jay. Everybody. Yeah.
We want to thank all the Lises for joining us today.
All right. We'll take a quick break. Step away. We'll be right back. We're Pittsburgh's Christian Talk. It's The Ride Home on 101.5 Word FM. That's WORD.
The free AutoZone Fix Finder service can help troubleshoot the likely cause of your pesky check engine light for free and help you save time and money down the road. Restrictions apply. Get in the zone. AutoZone.
This is Kathy Emmons. John and I are grateful for the encouragement we have from all of our advertisers and especially our friends at Grove City College. Thanks to everyone at Grove City for supporting The Ride Home.
So I found a new fear last week. I walked into my doctor's office and there was nobody at the front desk. Just one of those little silver bells that said, "Please ring." I crept my little finger up to it, trying to just barely touch it. But sure enough, it sounded like a giant air horn going off. It's Ryan, and the goal of this commercial is for our Faith and Family Mortgage team to say, don't be scared to smash our bell. Maybe you're thinking of buying a new home, but you don't know what the exact details would look like. Maybe the value of your current home has skyrocketed the last few years. Most have. And so you'd like to see what it would look like to cash out some of that newfound equity to use for life. We chose Word FM specifically, and we're committed to super serving this station for the long haul. So ding that bell away. No question is too dumb. No pressure will you ever feel. We are United Faith Mortgage.
We pay $1,000 of your closing costs on new home purchases. Whew, that's a lot.
United Mortgage Corp, Melville, New York. MLS number 1330. Department of Banking. Mortgage Lender License number 22672.
If you are 65 or older, you know this. It's really frustrating to deal with out-of-pocket medical expenses. Watching your hard-earned dollars just flying out the window. Well, here's something that can really help, and it's worth taking a minute to look into. Medi-Share has a new option called Medi-Share 65 Plus. Medi-Share is a community of Christians who share each other's healthcare bills, and it really is a community. People encourage and pray for each other. And Medi-Share 65 Plus is a low-cost option for those with Medicare Parts A and B that fills in the gaps where Medicare stops. You can lock in one low monthly price for up to 10 years. It's great for peace of mind. You can use your Medicare-approved doctor and get prescription savings, dental and vision savings. Very worth looking into, and it's so easy to find out why people rave about the customer service at Medi-Share. They're great to talk to on the phone. Here's the number. Call 833-SHARE-55. That's 833-SHARE-55. 833-SHARE-55.
You could win $5,000 and bless an organization with $5,000 in your name when you enter the Kindness Challenge.
Share your kindness with others. Go to wordfm.com to enter. That's wordfm.com.
Ask Alexa to play the word Pittsburgh to hear us there. We're on your Google speaker, too. Plus iHeart, TuneIn, and on Odyssey. 101.5 WORD FM, Pittsburgh.
Cloudy skies expected for tonight with rain developing, the low 56. Rain tomorrow. There can be flooding in some areas. We'll see a high tomorrow of 64. Breezy Saturday morning, otherwise cool with occasional rain. A wet start to the weekend. We'll see nicer weather for outdoor activities on Sunday. Expect a high Saturday of 56. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm forecaster Drew Shannon.
This is a very difficult time to buy a house.
It sure is.
I mean, it's shocking what's happened here in the past year.
Yeah, prices have skyrocketed. The market moves really fast.
Interest rates are now up.
Yep.
Well, the good news is the Dollar Bank is doing their annual event, Mortgages for Mothers. And we're really happy to have Judith Mason back with us once again, because every year people gather and Dollar Bank provides really sound advice. Judith, welcome to the show.
Hello.
Hello, Judith.
Hi, Judith. Talk to us about Mortgages for Mothers.
Oh, well, we're coming back. We did something remote last year, and that was pretty good. So we're back. We're going to be in the convention center on May 14th on Saturday at 9 o'clock. And it's kind of, we look at this as we have a different name. Things have changed. A lot of things have changed, and I just want to let people know. It is still Mortgages for Mothers, but we branded a new name, The Way Home. Mm-hmm. So that's what this is, The Way Home buying workshop. So
terrific.
Most people get used to that. So
okay, that's good, Judith. Let me just interrupt you for a minute and ask you about people who are listening to the program who think that they're never going to be able to own a home, that's something they're going to be renting for the rest of their life. They don't really know anything about how the procedure works. They're uncomfortable going to a bank. That just makes them feel insecure or less than or whatever it is. Talk about how The Way Home can meet that person.
Okay, we're going to allay all those fears because we can. The program itself is going to teach them. I've been talking about this all day, but it's going to teach them how the process works from the very beginning and to the end. All the key players in the real estate industry and also in our residential lending department. So the educational piece is really good, and we're going to show them that they can purchase a home. They just have to do some things. Like you said, a lot of people don't have a relationship with a bank. A lot of people don't think they have enough money. And also their credit isn't where it should be. We're going to, pinpoint those things because everybody in the program is different. So it's not a cookie cutter program. We're just going to go each person you need to do. We're going to get them to a point where they're mortgageable so that they can get pre-approved and go get out there and look for a home.
Fabulous. Judith Mason's with us from Dollar Bank. The Way Home Ownership Program. It's happening, coming up really early here in May. So, Judith, give us the details and how people can be part of this. This is not something you've got to pay money for, right?
No, it's absolutely free. There is babysitting, for the children. All you have to do is give us a call at 1-800-345-3655 to register, or you can go online at dollar.bank, The Way Home.
Very nice. And the dates are, once again, Judith?
May 14th, Saturday, 9 a.m., Judith?
Right.
Fabulous.
Right.
Terrific.
And the thing that's going to happen on that day is we're going to have inspirational presentations by three people who went through the program, and now they own their own home.
Excellent.
Wow, that's awesome.
So someone who's already charted the course that you can too, home ownership across Pittsburgh and Western Pennsylvania with Dollar Bank. Judith, thanks an awful lot. This is a really great program.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break.
Sounds
Come
good.
back. Cy Gart is with us.
Yeah, guess what we're talking about, John?
Tell me.
Consciousness.
What's that?
I could be part of the problem.
Take a little dream. Be right back.
.5 WORD.
Women are different from men. This week on Truth for Life, we'll consider how God designed women for a unique role in life, in marriage, and in ministry. We'll also learn how older women can help train younger women to fulfill their role. That's our focus on Truth for Life with Alistair Begg.
Tomorrow morning at 6 on 101.5 WORD.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit and little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text RON to 99799 and I'll send you my free training. I promise I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehabs and can quickly replace your current income. Text RON to 99799 and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's RON to 99799. Again, text RON to 99799.
Addiction is a disease that does not discriminate. At Recovery Centers of America, we see its impact on people from all walks of life. Every day, a mom or dad drinking too much every night, an athlete hiding a pill addiction, a healthcare professional or first responder dealing with work-related trauma through substance use, a young adult who started the party in college and hasn't been able to stop. In the past year, over 100,000 people in the U.S. died from overdoses, including many from our local community. If you're hearing this and you think you're different, that you have a habit and not an addiction, I want you to hear this message and challenge your relationship with alcohol and drugs. If you are struggling, there is a solution. We can help you today. Call 1-888-RECOVERY now. At Recovery Centers of America, we will answer your call 24/7. Many of us personally understand your pain, and we will work with you to determine the best treatment option that fits your needs. In our care, our medical and clinical experts will help you achieve recovery. Don't wait to get help. Call 1-888-RECOVERY now. That's 1-888-RECOVERY.
Eager to continue your theological learning or engage more deeply with Scripture? Enroll as a non-degree or certificate student and take Greek or Hebrew online this summer at Pittsburgh Theological Seminary. Apply by May 20th. Visit pts.edu/admit.
We are everywhere on your radio at 101.5 WORD-FM Pittsburgh, at wordfm.com, the Word FM mobile app, iHeart, TuneIn, and Odyssey.
Biochemist Cy Gart is back with us. Cy's a regular guest on our show. He is the author of The Work of His Hands, A Scientist's Journey from Atheism to Faith. Cy, thanks for coming along today. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Great to be here.
Always a pleasure.
All right, Cy, this is interesting. I haven't talked to a lot of biochemists about consciousness. I mean, it seems like that would be a different subspecialty. Tell us why it's on your mind.
It is. It's really more of neuroscience than anything I've worked on. But I saw something the other day that I just thought would be really interesting to relate. It's actually from a physicist, one of the best physicists in the world. His name is Sir Roger Penrose. He's very famous. He's obviously knighted. I think he won the Nobel Prize as well. He's written some great books. And in a recent interview that he did, I think it was with Jordan Peterson, he made a statement about consciousness that was, I think, very, very important. Before I think I'll get right to the conclusion of it and then work backwards and say how he came to it. His conclusion, well, first let me just say that, we talk about consciousness, we all know what it is, or we all know that we're conscious, but nobody knows what it is. Nobody knows where it comes from. Mm-hmm. It's almost impossible to describe. What does it mean that you're conscious? Well, we're awake, we feel, we see, we understand, we think. None of that quite gets it, right? I mean, computers can sort of think, but they're not conscious. It's almost impossible to even define what consciousness is. Mm-hmm. And neuroscience has tried to explain it and understand it for a long time with actually no success. So it's a big mystery. So one of the things that people think is that consciousness is somehow related to intelligence. And the reason that's important is because, as you know, we have something called artificial intelligence now, which can work quite well. And some people think, well, eventually, as that improves, we will eventually have machines which will be conscious. They'll be like us. And this looks like science fiction movies, where robots are thinking and feeling. Terminator. Yeah, exactly. And there's so many. So that's a question. Is that possible? And what Roger Penrose has done is he has proven mathematically that that is not possible. What he has proven is that consciousness is what he calls non-computable. Mm-hmm. In other words, it's not, being conscious has nothing to do with anything that involves a systematic buildup of something. Doesn't matter what it is. Just, it's not possible. It's not computable. You can't actually make anything else conscious by any computation, which means that AI can never be conscious.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Nothing that we do with any machine, no matter how much we know, will ever be able to make a conscious robot. It's humans who are conscious.
That's fascinating.
Maybe some animals too. We don't know, but
right.
But it's definitely not computable.
So, Cy, of course, as you well know, that everyone is now attuned to the Supreme Court case of abortion in this country once again. So it sort of would go hand in hand, right? People were saying, when is life life? When is life viable? Do you add consciousness on top of that? Does a baby in the womb have consciousness, or does a baby in the womb only have consciousness when the baby exits the womb? When does consciousness come upon us?
Yeah, I mean, that's a question. That's one of the questions we don't know. When does a baby become conscious? When does a human become conscious? Is it right at birth? Is it like when they're 2 or 3 years old? I mean, I remember the first time I was conscious, I was about 15, right? Around there. When I suddenly realized that, there's a world out there.
Right.
So, but that is a good question. I mean, nobody knows that answer either. And we know when we're unconscious, when we're asleep or when we're under, anesthesia or something. Even asleep, much of the time we're conscious, we dream. And then there are periods when we're not conscious. But when we're not conscious, we don't know it. So it gets really crazy. Yeah. And so how did Penrose do this? How did he mathematically prove that consciousness is not computable? And the answer is very difficult, very complicated. I'll just mention it. Anybody who wants to look further can find this interview. It's online with Peterson, I believe. And he used something called Gödel's theorem, which is also very difficult. It's also way out of my field in biochemistry. It's a mathematical theorem which basically says that any system of axioms, in other words, ideas that make a logical system like our arithmetic, cannot be both complete and non-contradictory. So in other words, either there'll be something in any system of arithmetic or any other logical system that is self-contradictory, or the system is not complete. Mm-hmm. That means there's a non-computability possibility.
Right.
And what Penrose did was he used that math and proved that consciousness is one of those things that follows that theorem and cannot be computed.
Interesting. So then consciousness is certainly a gift from God, but could you make the claim that consciousness is God?
I think both. I think certainly we believe that God is conscious, maybe super conscious, whatever that means. I agree that consciousness is a gift from God, which is why we have it, and why it's not explainable at all. I mean, there's even, there's a very famous atheist philosopher, and his answer is quite simple. He says it doesn't exist. There's no such thing. It's an illusion. We're not really conscious. We just think we are. I don't even know what that means.
Like we're inside of, people say, we're inside of a video game, or we're holograms or something like that.
Yeah,
right? Yeah,
that's right. Like that. And we're fooling ourselves into thinking we're conscious, but don't you have to be conscious to fool yourself?
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah.
So I don't think that's a good answer. No, and I like the one you gave, John. It's a gift of God.
Yeah.
And it's not just relegated to humans, right? So animals are conscious.
Well, certainly seems that way. Yeah. I mean, I don't own a dog, but I do know that if I ever told a dog owner that his dog is not conscious, somebody would bite me.
Right. It's fascinating, Si. So you found this piece. We'd like to know more about that piece, but if you're talking about it and people are writing about it now, this has to be one of those questions for the ages, which I'm sure many people have poked at and tried to come up with some sort of reasonable explanation, at least about delving into the nature of consciousness, what it is, and the gift that it is, and of course the God consciousness, which is we're all part of that. So whether you're a believer or not, those questions go before you, and I would think the answer somewhere downstream, of course, all things do, lead into the lap of God.
Very well said, John. I really have little to add to that.
All right,
I think that's right.
All right.
Well, thank you, Si.
Good to talk to you, Si.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Take care.
Yeah. See you soon. Si Gart joins us on a monthly basis. Always brings something really thoughtful to the program. Appreciate that.
The work is the book is called The Work of His Hands.
The Works of His Hands. A Scientist's Journey from Atheism to Faith.
Turkey and stuffing, real mashed potatoes, sliced top round, Aunt Emma's broccoli casserole, chicken and gravy over buttermilk biscuits. Am I making you hungry yet? Hi, it's me, Marcia from the Spring House. Do you have a special event coming up in your life? A shower, a wedding, graduation party, company party, anniversary event, or any occasion where you'd love to serve all natural, farm fresh foods? Then it's time to give the Spring House Catering Department a call at 724-228-3339. From your first conversation with Dawn, who will help you create a menu that's unique to you, to the beautiful, bounteous setup and display that my sister Jill and her crew create, you will be delighted. After every catering event, Jill tells our cooks, I wish I could take you with me so you could hear all the wonderful comments guests give us. Give us a call at 724-228-3339 or check out our extensive menu at springhousemarket.com for farm fresh catering from the Springhouse.
Are you a real estate investor looking to refinance one or more of your properties? Most lenders only work with cookie-cutter W-2 borrowers. At Cash Call Mortgage, we have loans designed specifically for investment properties. We qualify customers based on the cash flow from the investment property. Borrowers can get up to $2.5 million. That's right, $2.5 million. No tax returns or employment verification needed for our investment property loans, and absolutely no lender or broker fees. If you're a real estate investor looking to refinance a mortgage on one or more of your investment properties, give Cash Call Mortgage a try. To see if you qualify, visit cashcallmortgage.com or call now, 800-940-7998. That's 800-940-7998. 800-940-7998.
Cash Call Mortgage is a DBA of Impact Mortgage Corp. NMLS ID 128231. Not all applicants will qualify. Equal housing lender. Licensed by California Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. Residential Mortgage Lending Act license number 4131083. Not licensed in all states including New York. Call 855-657-9910 for licensing terms and restrictions. Or visit cashcallmortgage.com.
What happened to quality customer service? These days, it feels like most companies just treat you like a number. It can be difficult to find a real human to speak to when you have a question or need assistance. At the Original Mattress Factory, we have a customer-focused philosophy. We offer an educational, no-pressure shopping experience because we want to help you find the right mattress for you, whether you buy from us or not. Visit an Original Mattress Factory today to see the difference quality customer service makes. OriginalMattress.com.
Creation Festival 2022 is your summer destination. June 29th through July 2nd at Agape Farm, Shirleysburg, PA. Featuring Zach Williams, We the Kingdom, Bethel Music, Newsboys, Dante Bowe, Red, and many more. Creation Festival, a tribute to our Creator. Come for the day or the entire event and go home changed. Compassion International presents Creation Festival. Get half-off tickets now while they last exclusively at wordfm.com/creation.
Oh, so the Mexicans beat the French.
They threw off the shackles of the French. Napoleon's army.
Threw off the shackles.
They pushed them away. They said, get out of our space.
Napoleon, was he there?
He was there.
And he left.
1862.
The French.
President Juarez declared Cinco de Mayo a national holiday in Mexico.
May 5th.
And we basically just glommed onto it.
Well, yeah, because, we want to go to Mad Mex.
Yeah, basically we want to have guacamole and...
burritos.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Who doesn't love a guac?
And we honor the Mexican people.
Cinco de Mayo.
Will you be celebrating tonight, John, in any significant way?
I really haven't given... No, I don't think so. No.
Okay.
I'm going to have birthday leftovers.
Okay, but
I could have a steak fajita.
Okay, that's a great idea.
There you go. I rescued it.
Christy, will you be celebrating?
I'm going to have some tacos.
Nice.
What?
And where will they be from?
My freezer. I'm going to make them with the ground meat in my freezer.
Yes, she is.
Holy moly, you guys are on board.
I'm thinking about stopping at El Campesino on the way home.
Hey, very
McKnight
nice
Road.
selection.
I very much enjoy El Campesino.
Excellent. All right.
I think I might have a fish taco to celebrate with the Mexican people. You don't think I should do that?
I've tried the fish taco.
I love the fish taco.
I do not.
It's delicious at El Campesino.
I do not enjoy the fish taco.
Yeah, I think I would do that. And they have a nacho that has a delicious sauce on it. You have the cheese, and then there's a little bit of a sauce, and it's very
You making some guac?
enjoyable. I have avocados that were 10 for 10 at Shop and Save earlier this week.
Oh, it's still a bargain. Let's see, they have not been affected by inflation.
They have been affected by inflation, but I keep finding sales in other places. So whenever I see it, I get 10 of them.
Okay.
It's going to be a big night.
I like some guac myself.
You
Right?
enjoy. I believe you enjoy the guac I make.
Whenever I think about you and guacamole, I think about you, guacamole, and a car accident. It just sort of goes hand in hand with it's a whole other story.
Yeah, it is another story.
Anyway, happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody.
Celebrate.
Have some guac and a burrito. It's French.
.5 WORD-FM Pittsburgh. On your smart speaker by saying, play the word Pittsburgh. And on your phone via the Word FM mobile app, iHeart, TuneIn, and Odyssey.
With SRN News, I'm John Scott. Ukraine's Foreign Minister Dmytro Kuleba has welcomed European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen's proposal for an oil embargo on Russia. Kuleba says failure is not an option in the war with Russia.
The war, I told you, we will win. As simple as that, because we have no other choice.
Former U.S. Senator Jim Talon predicting the Supreme Court ruling against Roe versus Wade is unlikely to lead Democrats to victory in November, but he says the party could benefit in the short run.
Politically, I think this is at least a short-term benefit for the Democrats because it gives them something to talk about other than the issues which are killing them, which are all the other issues. Inflation, crime, the border.
Former Senator Talent interviewed on the Salem Radio Network. This is SRN News.
I'm Doug Mastriano. I know something about fighting for freedom. My 30 years of military service showed me how much we took our freedoms for granted. When the lockdowns came and the left trampled our rights, I was one of the few to stand up for freedom. I fought for the integrity of our elections. I fought for medical freedom, to choose what medicine we put in our bodies, and for the rights of Pennsylvanians to operate and conduct business. I fought for our elderly and our special needs children. And I fought for parents' rights to raise their kids without indoctrination in school. Now the spirit of our Walk as Free People movement has caught fire. I'm Doug Mastriano, and I'm running for governor because this election is about freedom. Join me to restore freedom, revive our families, rebuild our economy, and to get us back to greatness. Visit DougForGov.com. That's DougForGov.com. And let's take our state back.
Paid for by friends of Doug Mastriano.
The Mechanical Services Company. Trusted, proven, preferred for all mechanical systems, heating and air. Our team has got you covered. Maintenance, service, installs, and repair. Call us when you need comfort. Online at tmschvac.com. The Mechanical Services Company. Trusted, proven, preferred.
COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too. If you feel symptoms, even if they're mild, you should test fast. Test positive and at high risk for severe COVID-19? Then act fast with authorized oral treatments that can be taken at home and must be taken within 5 days from when symptoms begin. COVID-19 moves fast, and now you can too by asking your healthcare provider if an oral treatment is right for you. Learn about a treatment option at treatcv19.com. This message is sponsored by Pfizer.
It's a very common fear to have a fear of the dentist.
There's a reason patients love Dr. Megan Stock, voted Pittsburgh Trib's best of the best dentist in Northern Allegheny County for the second year in a row.
I feel particularly drawn to making sure that all patients are at ease, that extra gentle touch, the extra nudge to tell them it's okay, we'll get through this together.
Exceptional dentistry meets compassionate care. Stock Family Dentistry, Perry Highway in Wexford, at stockfamilydentistry.com. Eager to continue your theological learning or engage more deeply with Scripture? Enroll as a non-degree or certificate student and take Greek or Hebrew online this summer at Pittsburgh Theological Seminary. Apply by May 20th. Visit pts.edu/admit.
You could win $5,000 and bless an organization with $5,000 in your name when you enter the Kindness Challenge.
Share your kindness with others. Go to wordfm.com to enter. That's wordfm.com.
Cloudy skies expected for tonight with rain developing, the low 56. Rain tomorrow. There can be flooding in some areas. We'll see a high tomorrow of 64. Breezy Saturday morning, otherwise cool with occasional rain. A wet start to the weekend. We'll see nicer weather for outdoor activities on Sunday. Expect a high Saturday of 56. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm forecaster Drew Shannon.
Welcome to another edition of The Ride Home with John and Kathy, live from the Salem-Pittsburgh studios. And now here are your hosts, John Hall and Kathy Emmons.
Since the ruling in Works was leaked the other day from the Supreme Court, there's been a debate online. This has happened almost immediately. Is it people are upset about the ruling? Or is it that people are upset about the leak? Mm-hmm. And there are two very distinct camps of people who are breathing into that with great vigor.
Right.
The ruling or the leak. I would say it falls along party lines. Wouldn't you?
No.
Really?
I actually wouldn't say it falls along party lines because I think it depends on who you think leaked it.
There is that.
So that, I think, falls on party lines because if you're a progressive, you think that a conservative leaked it. And if you're a conservative, you think a progressive leaked it.
Which is a dangerous game because if you've been on social media, as we are often, you will see people calling out other people who were suspected of the leak.
Yeah.
And that could do a lot of damage to someone's life.
Right. So you're throwing shade on somebody
big time.
without having any,
you're playing detective.
Substantive evidence at all.
Right.
And of course, we know what it's like. The court of public opinion right now is so inhumane and is so ill-acquainted with the idea of forgiveness that there's no going back.
No.
Right. There's no rebounding after someone has publicly shamed you. Whether you did it or not, it's almost like it doesn't matter. I mean, things are off the chain. I've seen very persuasive ideas for why it was a progressive clerk that leaked it. Mm-hmm. And I've seen equally
Me too.
persuasive ideas why it would be a conservative. So people say, oh, it's definitely a progressive clerk because they want to gin up public outrage so that the court realizes that the entire country is pro-abortion and they will not possibly let this stand. And then the other side, people are saying, oh, no, it's a conservative. Only a conservative would do this because the conservative wants to make sure that any of the judges that are waffling in the majority are going to stick to their guns and not be swayed.
Right.
And so everybody needs to know that they were originally going to vote. What if they're about to say no? And we need everybody to know that they originally said they were going to say yes.
Either way, it's a heinous crime. A moral crime that's been committed. Now, they're saying that whoever did this most likely can't be prosecuted for any crime.
Well, it could be disbarred, though. They have to be disbarred.
But not a criminal crime.
Oh, right. Yeah, sure. Right.
I mean, where do you stand on this? What's most important to you? Right?
Well, I think
they're
two separate things. I'm much more interested in the ruling than I am interested in the leak. Though I think the fact that there was a leak tells you how pivotal that ruling will be.
Yes.
Somebody leaked it with nefarious intent because it is such
a bombshell.
It is such a bombshell issue, and it is for both sides, and I don't say this lightly, I think it is a sacramental issue.
Yes, I would agree. Sacramental in the way that this is extremely important at the top of a lot of people's lives when they get up in the morning.
And it almost approaches having holy significance.
Oh, without a doubt, right? The people
and
are so...
maybe not almost, maybe it does approach.
I think for a lot of people
having
it
holy
does.
significance.
And of course, life is holy. So it does.
Okay, so on your side, you think that that's holy. And if you were a pro-choicer, you would think that choice is holy.
Right. What's happened, though, is cataclysmic. I mean, I do believe that America being America, we will survive this, that good will come from this in both arenas, the ruling itself and the leaker itself, the process of leaking, that structures will now have to be put in place. Because what they're saying is it's a very small crowd that would have access to this, some 36
right. So
people.
it would be the clerks. Yeah, it would be the clerks, and there would be some staff who would also have access to it.
It's a tiny, intimate group that wields incredible power of knowledge.
Which over the years has been tight.
Yes.
I mean, even though the clerks change all the time, but there's such a respect for the institution. People know what's expected of you when you enter that, and then they're going to keep silence because that's part of what's expected.
Right.
Now, all of a sudden, even that institution that's been held up as this type of pure arbiter, right, of the thing, kind of above the fray of all of the nastiness and all of the rage that goes on in the rest of America, the Supreme Court is kind of lifted.
Here's common sense.
And now, even the Supreme Court is ruined by politics.
And what I read as well is though, somehow the Supreme Court has been ruined. That things have been sullied, as though the court itself was part of this process. The court has been injured. No, the court has been injured. People say, well, the Supreme Court is in disarray. I do not believe the Supreme Court is in disarray. I think that there is a person inside the Supreme Court who is trying to drag it into disarray. How history will, judge alongside the recovery of this and how people breathe into this.
Here's why I think it's in disarray. I think that having a blank space where judges can, in private, get their thoughts out. They're able to hear from each other. As they talk, they're figuring out what they think.
Right. And exchanging papers, their personal writings as they figure it out.
Here's my reasoning.
Right.
And then I send it to
what do you think?
And you say, I think that's ridiculous because of this,
or
and
let me
this.
add on to this.
Right. Or I think you're onto something here with this. I think that process, that collaboration is so important. And it's kind of like if you found out your therapist had told somebody what you said.
Mm-hmm. It's that.
Like, the only reason I said what I said is I thought that I was
safe. Right? That I was safe. I was in a safe place here. So I'm speaking to you intimately on something deeply important. And you also will honor my safety by not disclosing anything about that.
So if you, as my therapist, do disclose it,
I lose.
I can't go back into that space and feel the same way about it.
Well,
that's why it's so important they find out who did it.
Of course, I can't
and
imagine
get that person out of the environment so that they can try to rebuild that trust again. But I think it was injurious in the extreme.
What if it wasn't a clerk? What if it was one of the
justices?
Yes. Or a spouse of one of the justices. There's been a lot of talk about that.
If it was one of the justices,
you would have to leave.
Oh, they'd have to be impeached. They could never remain. That would be egregious.
There's a lot of heartbreak out there right now, and the ruling, of course,
can't be one of the justices.
Who knows, Kath? You wouldn't have thought this. We were having this conversation this time last week. This is so outrageous. Anything's possible in this political day and age. Anything. People want to be, they think that look, the age of the leaker is now upon us. This started to happen, 15 years ago.
Right.
Where now leakers are heroes. which is ridiculous. It's such an abdication of responsibility. You're injuring your country. What, I'm going to publish these papers because people need to know. We don't need to know. We needed to know in the just time when the rulings were taking place.
Is it important for you? Do you think maybe I shouldn't ask, maybe I shouldn't personalize it. Do you think it's important that America knows who the leaker was?
Yes, 100%. 100%. Yes. And I think soon and very soon, although you see this, people are going to be maligned in the process. Let's hope that cooler heads prevail despite all the heinous activity that's taking place right now. I would say the best bet for most people is to stay away from social media because people are, slinging arrows with minimal evidence.
And if you find out that it was a liberal clerk, then all of the conservatives on social media are going to be rejoicing and saying, oh, they're such terrible people. And the reverse is going to be the case, too. If it was a conservative clerk or whoever, can you imagine? The libs are going to be like, oh, all conservatives.
We need to pray for sanity, for peace.
101.5 WORD. Pittsburgh's favorite Christian music is here on the weekend.
With the best new music. New music from Matthew West. Me on Your Mind. With me on your mind. Ellie Holcomb, I Will Carry You. And The Healing from Blanca and Dante Bowe. Celebrating 20 years of bringing Pittsburgh's favorites and the best new music.
101.5 WORD on the weekend.
The Mechanical Services Company. Trusted, proven, preferred.
If you can fix the big stuff, you can fix the small stuff. The Mechanical Services Company has fixed HVAC systems large and small for over 100 years. For fair treatment, expert service, and affordable solutions 24/7, 365. Find them online at tmschvac.com.
The Mechanical Services Company. Trusted, proven, preferred.
Dr. Mehmet Oz confessed, quote, I'm not socially conservative. Mehmet Oz is a liberal on guns. Listen to him in his own words.
How do we keep guns out of the wrong person's hands? Red flag laws.
Even worse, Oz supported New Zealand-style forced government gun buybacks, tracking gun owners with universal licensing, and an assault rifle ban. No wonder Mehmet Oz confessed, quote, I'm not socially conservative. Mehmet Oz, a Hollywood liberal and total fraud. Dave McCormick, he's an Iraq combat veteran with a Bronze Star. He's a proud son of Pennsylvania and a sportsman. Dave McCormick is a conservative who you can trust to stand up to the woke liberal mob and protect your Second Amendment rights. Honor Pennsylvania, Inc. is responsible for the content of this advertising. Not authorized by any candidate or candidates committee. Paid for by Honor Pennsylvania, Inc. HonorPennsylvania.com.
If a super flexible schedule, great benefits, paid time off, and a signing bonus sound good, consider NAMS Transportation. NAMS has provided safe transportation to Northern Allegheny County and Pittsburgh seniors for over 40 years. Van drivers start at $17 an hour, sedan drivers at $14 an hour, plus a $2,000 signing bonus for part-time drivers and a $4,000 signing bonus for full-time. Must be 25 or older, no CDL required. Call 412-406-8611 today.
You're not who you were 25 years ago. Your life's more complex. People change, families change, and the law changes. This is Jay Hagerman of Abernathy & Hagerman, and a proper estate plan should keep up with those changes. That's why Abernathy & Hagerman presents free ongoing estate planning workshops with attorney Dan Reimer, someone who's really good at making complex concepts sound so simple, so you can protect what's yours and to ensure that your will is done. The next one's happening soon. For details and to attend, visit a-h.law.
There's been an awful lot of conversation, as there should be, about the Supreme Court leak. And yesterday, when word was spreading around, President Biden was asked about his response. He essentially said that the Supreme Court has been radicalized. Well, the fact of the matter is that this country, the country that we love, the United States of America, in many ways looks at abortion from a worldwide radical perspective. Listen to this. Of all the countries in the world, of which there are 190 so, only 7 countries around the world allow elective abortion to take place past 20 weeks. And the United States is one of those 7 countries. The United States, which determines restrictions based on viability, is in the company of the countries Canada, China, Vietnam, and North Korea, all of which have no legal restriction on abortion. The Netherlands and Singapore limit abortions at 24 weeks. Most countries in this world, 12 weeks. On the outlier, 15 weeks. But here in America, people are crying out at the inhumanity of us not allowing abortion to full term. Here to talk to us about that is Nicole Hunt from Focus on the Family. Nicole Hunt is an attorney and a life issues analyst at Focus. Nicole, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Nicole, talk about your initial feelings Monday night when all of this broke.
You know, I think like a lot of the pro-life movement, we were both shocked and cautiously optimistic. Shocked, of course, because this kind of a leak from the highest court in the land, which prides itself in its confidentiality and the ability to trust those who work within those 4 walls. It's practically unprecedented what happened and very unethical. You know, cautiously optimistic because, you know, Chief Justice Roberts, he confirmed the authenticity of the draft. And of course, that draft indicated that there was, at least in February, 5 justices who were willing to completely overturn Roe versus Wade.
I never thought I would live to see that day. I never did. I've been involved with this issue for a long time, and I just figured that it would always be mired in the type of, you know, vitriol and disagreement John was talking about at the start of the segment here. So now that we're on the cusp of actually considering the possibility, certainly not taking it as a final announcement or a final ruling, how do you see our appropriate response to such a thing?
Well, you know, first of all, I think we all need, as Christians, we need to keep praying that that these justices will have the spine to stick with the votes that they initially indicated they were willing to position themselves as. I think what we've seen in the last few days is that the left is willing to stop at nothing to get their agenda across. And we've seen threats against the justices. I think they released their addresses. I know Justice Alito had a public event that he was supposed to attend today that he canceled. So we've got to know that there's a lot going on behind the scenes here. So we need to be praying for the safety of the justices and that they would continue to hold fast to the judicial reasoning that brought them to this decision in the first place, which I would like to add, we believe is solid legal reasoning. It is true that Roe v. Wade overstepped its bounds in the 1970s, that it took away power from the people to legislate abortion policy. And it is the correct response to return that power back to the people to decide. And so we're hoping and we're praying that these justices will continue to stay as they've indicated in the positions that they support. And in the meantime, you know, as the pro-life movement needs to continue to work together to find ways to provide for the needs of moms who find themselves in unexpected pregnancies.
Yes.
And that means getting involved in local pregnancy crisis centers.
Right. And that's one of the talking points that the left has, right? That Christians only concern themselves about the baby in the womb. And then after that, well, left to your own devices, good luck down the road.
That's right. It's one of their biggest talking points.
Yeah, so we could do one of two things. We can either fight back and make that another point in which we argue endlessly over social media, or we could hear that and say, okay, are we? And if we are, then keep on doing what we're doing. And if we're not, then we need to make up the difference because that is the right thing to do.
Of course.
Nicole, that's exactly what you're talking about. That's, you know, keeping your eyes on the prize. That is relationship, one person with another. A young woman is in a crisis pregnancy, an unexpected pregnancy, then she needs help and we need to be there.
That's right. And, you know, we can give in whatever measure fits the life that we're in. As a stay-at-home mom about 6 years ago with 4 kids, 4 and under, I wanted to get involved in the effort of helping pregnancy resource centers. So I started helping as a helpline volunteer, where I would just have the helpline calls forwarded to my cell phone. And if women called in the middle of the night when the business was closed, then I would take their information and I would make sure that it got to the right folks to give them a call back the next day. So there's lots of different ways.
Response, of course, if you're not a believer and you look at Focus on the Family, you would think the people who work at Focus, who are part of Focus, are the far-right radicals. But, of course, we know that's nothing further from the truth.
No, I mean, Focus on the Family, the thing that motivates us the most is that we believe that all humans have inherent dignity and worth because we're made in the image of God. And our faith informs our values, and that informs our actions. We advocate for pre-life for preborn babies and for their mothers because we believe that that respects the inherent dignity of the person. And so for us, we're going to continue to be involved in serving the needs of mothers, giving them voice. We have a special program called Option Ultrasound where we get involved in helping pregnancy resource centers get ultrasounds that they need so that when moms come in thinking about abortion, they get the opportunity to get an ultrasound and see what their baby looks like in the womb. We know that hearing that heartbeat and seeing that image, that resonates with moms. They see that it's more than just tissues. That's a real person.
So, Nicole, Kath and I were playing a guessing game when you were coming in. Some people say the ruling is the most important thing. Other people say the leak is the most important thing. What's your perspective?
Yes, I've heard the arguments as well. You know, on the one hand, the fact that it's come out so early, it's quite shocking, and it almost is like this is the announcement. But because we're not certain, obviously, if this will be the final draft, I've got to say that it's going to be when that final opinion drops, when we know for sure what the law of the land will be coming out of the Supreme Court. That is what will matter the most. And if it is overturning Roe, that will be a monumental day.
It truly will be.
That's Nicole Hunt, attorney and life issues analyst at Focus on the Family. Nicole, thanks for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Our great pleasure. As Nicole says, what are we doing here in the midst of all this? The good thing is to pray because we know something monumental is coming our way. So let's be prepared to be the light of Christ in all those conversations.
When it's time to replace your roof, siding, gutters, and downspouts, entry doors, and, of course, windows, you can count on Windows R Us, the area's premier exterior replacement company. This is John Steigerwald. With over 50 years' experience in the home remodeling industry, Windows R Us offers repair and replacement for all your exterior home projects. Why pay double with some other companies? Windows R Us will always give you the best price on the best in-class products, backed by the best warranties in the industry, all with zero sales pressure. And speaking of zero, right now get zero interest financing for 12 months and no processing fee with prices set to increase on all exterior products. Lock in your quote today. Schedule a free estimate and inspection today at WindowsRUsPittsburgh.com. You've tried the rest, now try the best. WindowsRUsPittsburgh.com.
Windows R Us. You've tried the rest, now try the best. The Mechanical Services Company. Trusted, proven, preferred.
If you can fix the big stuff, you can fix the small stuff. The Mechanical Services Company has fixed HVAC systems large and small for over 100 years. For fair treatment, expert service, and affordable solutions 24/7, 365. Find them online at tmschvac.com.
The Mechanical Services Company. Trusted, proven, preferred.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month, a savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance.
For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-928-3355. That's 1-800-928-3355. Or go to SelectQuote.com. 1-800-928-3355. That's 1-800-928-3355.
SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
Eager to continue your theological learning or engage more deeply with Scripture? Enroll as a non-degree or certificate student and take Greek or Hebrew online this summer at Pittsburgh Theological Seminary. Apply by May 20th. Visit pts.edu/admit.
Listen on your smart speaker at wordfm.com, the Word FM app, iHeart, TuneIn, and on Odyssey. In your car or at home, too, at 101.5 WORD FM, Pittsburgh.
Cloudy skies expected for tonight with rain developing, the low 56. Rain tomorrow. There can be flooding in some areas. We'll see a high tomorrow of 64. Breezy Saturday morning, otherwise cool with occasional rain. A wet start to the weekend. We'll see nicer weather for outdoor activities on Sunday. Expect a high Saturday of 56. With your AccuWeather forecast, I'm forecaster Drew Shannon.
Does this make sense?
Does what make sense?
Cash.
Cash is king.
Is it king?
Well, I guess it's an age thing. Doesn't it feel good to have cash in your pocket?
It does. It does feel good to have it in my pocket.
She's saying no.
But here's the thing. I look at that. I get the feeling, and then I think, well, that's dumb. Really? It's no different than having that money in my account.
No.
In fact, it's, at least no one's going to rip me off, hopefully, if it's in my account.
Oh, well, there's a good possibility of that, right? Right. I'm of two minds because I like to feel. I mean, if you have money in your pocket, it makes me feel good. Mm-hmm. Like right now, I know for a fact. I don't have a lot of money.
Oh, he's got a little bit, Christy.
No, you know what I got? I was getting off the elevator and I put my hand in my pocket and I was like, oh, I got a little chunk in there. I had nothing. I got $33 in my pocket right now. But I was like, $33?
Yeah, I kind of like it.
I was feeling pretty good about myself. But I got my debit card. And there lies the kingdom as far as the finances.
Right.
It's like I set up, I had to do a new software update on my phone, Apple Pay, and they wouldn't let me move forward until I said yes to the Apple Pay thing, that my software was updated and complete, which I resisted. I don't like being forced into like a financial situation.
No.
Even though the tapping of the card...
You want to be careful where your $33 goes.
Exactly. Right. Like, it feels false when I'm tapping my card
somewhere.
It seems spending money.
Fake, right. Mm-hmm.
It does feel fake. So, yes, it makes sense. Yes, it does.
Okay.
Does it make sense?
I don't think it does.
Oh, jeez. All right, does this make sense? This always makes me anxious, among other things, as you well know. The airbag light on off. Like you're driving in your car and you see that little yellow thing and it says airbag off. And I'm like, is that okay? Is it supposed to be okay? Am I going to be okay? What if I run into something? Am I going to be dead? How about the person next to me? Oh, there's nobody next to me, so the airbag's going to go off anyway. It makes a lot of anxiety.
Can't we just keep it? I feel like I want to keep it on.
Fine. What are you telling me now? Off, on, off, on. You're going to die, you're going to live. You're going to die. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Couldn't I just decide that even if there's a bag on the front seat and it's not a person, I still think I want to just keep the airbag on?
I don't understand. I'm sure the engineers have a very good reason behind it.
I don't want that type of decision making.
But there it is in front of you
on a daily basis.
And you're driving down the road and airbag off, airbag off. Am I doing something right? Am I doing something wrong?
Did you decide to turn it off?
No, I'm not touching it. So it doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. Let's just decide they're going to be on.
I think so.
101.5 WORD.
Dr. Michael Youssef.
When you surrender your life to Christ, God the Father says, all that Jesus inherits, you inherit. All that Jesus' righteousness is your righteousness. All of Jesus' authority is your authority. All that belongs to Jesus belongs to you.
Passionately proclaiming uncompromising truth on Leading the Way.
Tomorrow morning at 6:30 on 101.5 WORD.
I've always been kind of cynical towards advertising, which I know doesn't make much sense considering I'm currently recording a commercial. It's all the fluffy words that make us cynical, right? A once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, a blue light special, but only, of course, if you call right now. It all kind of makes me nauseous, and yet here I am about to say that right now actually might be a once-in-a-lifetime moment for some of us, and that is the opportunity of a cash-out refinance. Arguably never has there been a moment in time like the last few years, where home values have jumped at crazy historical levels, leaving all this extra money sitting inside our homes. A cash-out refinance lets you put that extra money in your pocket to use for life. If you'd like to see your options, we are United Faith Mortgage.
We pay $1,000 of your closing costs on new home purchases and up to $500 of your appraisal fees on all refinances.
United Mortgage Corp, Melville, New York. MLS number 1330. Department of Banking. Mortgage Lender License number 22672.
Hi, I'm John Henney from Henney Jewelers. Since 1887, my family has helped people celebrate the most memorable moments in their lives. We are rooted in faith and commit to doing the right thing again and again. We believe in the covenant of marriage and use our To Have and To Hold program to encourage couples as they prepare to spend the rest of their lives together. Please stop into our Shadyside store to learn more or visit HenneyJewelers.com. Henney Jewelers, your jewelers for life.
Hey, Earl, did you hear that Senator Mastriano voted to pass Act 77?
You're kidding. Isn't that the law that allowed no-excuse mail-in ballots that the Democrats are abusing?
Yeah, but it's worse than that. Mastriano also proposed that folks with COVID should be mandated to register with the government or be punished.
And that's a violation of my privacy rights. What will they come up with next? A tax increase?
You know, Earl, now that you mention it, he has. Mastriano is proposing a 60% increase in our Pennsylvania income tax.
Wow. Unbelievable. I'm sure glad I talked to you guys.
Don't be like Earl. Get the facts. Doug Mastriano can't be trusted. Paid for by Pennsylvania Patriots for Election Integrity, LLC.
I think all of us are well acquainted with the event at the Oscars.
Yeah.
Now, comedian Dave Chappelle.
I don't even remember who won Best Picture. Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, it was Coda.
Oh, right.
I had to remind myself because, of course, the whole Will Smith slap overtook.
And that was like a couple of months ago, wasn't it? A couple of months ago? Was it 6 weeks ago? Somewhere in that ballpark. So then, of course, there's, every public performer, whether it's, you're an actor on stage or most likely a stand-up comedian, on high alert because someone's coming for you. The audience all of a sudden has become very dangerous.
And before the Will Smith slap, the audience was still dangerous, but they were only dangerous in words, right? But you, as a stand-up comedian, tell the wrong joke, and you're just ruined on Twitter or on Instagram or whatever it is, right? Because you're a hater, or you're intolerant, or you're out of step, or you've gone too far, or whatever it is. And comedians are like, the whole reason we have jobs is because we go too far.
Yeah, I mean,
that's what our job is.
The court jesters, right? And so, in some ways, not to oversimplify it, but the court jester has living in a sacred space.
Yes,
he has freedom where you and I would not have the freedom.
He's the cultural commentator,
right?
And he kind of stands outside the system and looks at it so that we can maybe see it more clearly.
Right. A good one, a good comedian helps us make sense of the chaos.
Yes.
And laugh at ourselves in the process.
Yes.
Right? I mean, look, say what you will about George Carlin, and he's been dead a while, but people hold him up as the guy who made the most sense a lot of the times, right?
And people would say that now about Sebastian Maniscalco, right? Or Jerry Seinfeld or Dave Chappelle.
Yeah. So there's Dave Chappelle. Now, Dave Chappelle, a brilliant man.
Oh, my gosh.
Right? Quick as the day is long. Comes with, of course, like most comedians do, lots of baggage. Was it last night he was on stage in Las Vegas at a Netflix comedy event. And apparently this Netflix comedy
I thought it was Los Angeles.
I thought it was Las Vegas. So there he is. But this is a big event. I mean, I'm sorry. You're right. Hollywood Bowl, right? Thousands and thousands. The Beatles played the Hollywood Bowl. It's an iconic concert venue, outdoors. There he is on stage. A 23-year-old man rushes the stage and tackles Dave Chappelle.
In the middle of his gig.
Now, Dave Chappelle, famous because, like we said, his comedy is...
It's rough.
Very rough. He has security around him. Well, somehow this guy got through security he was found to have a gun, which is not really a gun.
It was a replica.
Yeah, had a knife that came out of the.
That still seems concerning.
It very much so. The gun was not used. The gun was in the guy's bag, so it wasn't as though the guy was intent on stabbing Dave Chappelle. At the same time, lots of danger when someone's coming on you and you get tackled while you're in the midst of your set. Anyway, as fate would have it, who's coming up on stage? Chris Rock. And Chris Rock says, in jest, I mean, all these guys, kudos to these guys, because they're in the moment and they stay on the moment. They're making jokes about, God help them, Will Smith. This era that we're living in now, where the court jesters or those who are the cultural influencers are now being attacked physically. Mm-hmm. Someone's going to be injured or perhaps die because of the anger and the vitriol that surrounds us all.
We are out of control. The public is out of control.
Rage.
If we can't handle a comedian, we are in a bad place. Bad. Here, from the very, George Carlin. To me, I didn't think he was that funny. He bothered me, offended me I didn't watch him. I didn't decide to rush him on the stage or pillory him in public. I just didn't watch him. I mean, there's such a thing as changing the channel, turning off the podcast, shutting your iPad, whatever you want to do to get rid of the comedy you don't like, you can. You don't have to do the kinds of stuff people are doing now. It's outrageous.
What's interesting is
it's a sickness.
It is a sickness fueled by, right? The boogeyman always is social media. But for someone to go to an event, can you imagine what a ticket cost?
But at least $150?
Oh, easy peasy. Right? This is in Hollywood, and you're getting your top of the list entertainers on stage together in a large group, easily several $100s just to get in the venue.
And some coconuts rushing the stage.
Apparently, the guy. Now, this is another thing. This is where we live in, where mental illness is an epidemic proportions. The young guy was 23 and apparently was homeless. How you get a ticket in this kind of venue is a whole other mystery. Now, the good news is that no one was injured, let alone, the attacker was injured, but of course,
Yeah, but here's the thing. Dave Chappelle mentally will never be in the same space when he's on a stage again.
Yeah, right.
So he has been injured. He might not have been physically injured, but he was certainly psychologically injured.
Well, I'm sure he's been there before, enough that he would hire security to protect him.
Okay, this is what Howie Mandel said. I'm reading here from The Hollywood Reporter. He said the Oscars incident may have opened the floodgates. Okay, so he does think they're connected. He said, we're already, as comedians, being attacked as far as being canceled for something you don't like, something you find offensive, something you think is too soon. You saw what happened at the Academy Awards, and I thought violence triggers violence. I think this is the beginning of the end for comedy. Do you think that's too much?
Yeah, I think it's a momentary, knee-jerk reaction. But of course, if that's your business and that's your career and that's your livelihood, you're going to think that because now, any coconut, your suspect is going to come at you. Here's an important thing, and this is one of our listeners said this. Can you imagine if a cop would have beat that guy? Because that guy got beat bad. If a cop had done that.
Did the security officers do that to him?
I think it was a mixed bag.
Oh, it was people in the audience too?
There were people who came on stage, and that guy took a beating.
Look, he was asking for it.
Right, he was.
I don't feel badly. I'm not hoping that the guy is injured.
Someone.
But when you rush a stage in the middle of a public event, you can't be surprised when people are pounding on you.
Right. But, the messenger comes in all sorts of different venues, doesn't it? If it was the police, right, there would be huge outrage about police brutality.
Yeah, there would be.
But because it was regular citizens or, hired security, then that's kind of gone by the wayside. Because we're in the business of protecting people. Mm-hmm. The police are. So I guess you have to be very careful about, where that message comes from.
So the White House Correspondents' Dinner happened last weekend. The latest super spreader event.
Which was joked about as a super spreader event.
And it ended up being a super spreader event because a ton of journalists now have COVID. White House staffers too. But as I was watching it, I was thinking how interesting it is that Trevor Noah makes a joke.
I love Trevor Noah.
So he makes a joke at the expense of liberals. Okay. And all the liberals in the room are like, okay. And no one's smiling and everyone's looking around. Everybody's disapproving. Okay. Then he makes a joke aimed at conservatives. All the conservatives are disapproving. And they're not smiling and they're not going to indulge that sort of thing. And it's you could just watch the crowd go from hilarious laughter to like stone faces.
Yeah.
And all I could think of looking at everybody is, we're all so precious. Like, we can't possibly laugh at our team.
Right.
We just can't. And when someone's making fun of our team, all of a sudden, that's too far. That's too much. That we have to draw the line somewhere.
Well, because
look, if you don't like it, you can leave the room, right? But I don't know. To me, the visual of it and listening to how people were mumbling, I thought, we're just not. We think it's hilarious when the other side is mocked, and we can't take it.
Remember when we were kids and it was the heyday of the celebrity roast?
Oh, my gosh.
There's Dean Martin and Don Rickles
and Rip Taylor.
All those guys. Now, the idea of a celebrity roast is that we love this person.
Yes.
But we're going to just mess with you as much as possible. Right. Well, this event, now the idea of a celebrity roast.
We could never do that.
No. But that event with Trevor Noah at the
that's as close as you can get.
Yeah. But you're still going to really hurt people's feelings or make people angry or whatever. There's going to be some kind of form of backlash.
But again, there has to be, because that's what it is. That's what comedy is. It's at somebody's expense. That's why it's funny.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, when people tell a joke and they say, and it hurts, and they go, well, I'm just kidding. I'm just joking. It still hurts.
It still hurts.
Because it's the truth.
But, right.
And the truth crushes into you, and everybody in the room recognizes it, left, right, whatever, and we all nod our head and go, he told it like it is. How can you come back to that?
So healthy people would hear that, a joke aimed at them or their tribe.
Had it coming.
And take it.
Right. But it would still be painful.
It is definitely painful. It's not good comedy if it's not a little painful.
Yeah. I mean, the best of both worlds is you're making people uncomfortable, you're telling the truth, and it's funny. If you can do all those things, that's a home run. That's what the pros do, right?
Triple threat.
That's why Dave Chappelle is so popular in certain circles, right? And, of course, we all lean in and go, well, I'd prefer my comedians to be clean. I don't need to be crushed. I don't need to have
To be honest
F-bombs.
with you, I'm not a big Dave Chappelle fan. It's too much for me.
Me too. It's an awful lot to digest.
I can't take all that.
However, he does have his place.
Sure.
And I do appreciate it because he is out of the bounds of politically correct humor, especially from a very left side, right? I mean, he is not a darling of the left in any way because what he's saying is really unpopular. But people...
He should still be allowed to say it.
If you're a conservative, you go, bring it, Dave. But on the other side, you'd also be crushed as well. I don't know. It's very complex. Heaven help us.
Yeah, nobody should rush the stage. That's where I come down to it.
No one could rush the
No one should rush the stage.
So what does that mean?
To laugh at ourselves.
So then you go to the symphony, you go to see a play, whatever.
What, you don't like what the maestro picked, and so you're going to rush the stage?
What? Shakespeare makes me crazy. Whenever Macbeth came on, I wanted to go and take down Macbeth. So now at every venue, are we going to have private security? To make sure that every coconut doesn't come on the stage because you're offended, because you're going to make your political point? That's kind of what it feels like where we are.
I'm Doug Mastriano. I know something about fighting for freedom. My 30 years of military service showed me how much we took our freedoms for granted. When the lockdowns came and the left trampled our rights, I was one of the few to stand up for freedom. I fought for the integrity of our elections. I fought for medical freedom, to choose what medicine we put in our bodies, and for the rights of Pennsylvanians to operate and conduct business. I fought for our elderly, and our special needs children. And I fought for parents' rights to raise their kids without indoctrination in school. Now the spirit of our Walk as Free People movement has caught fire. I'm Doug Mastriano, and I'm running for governor because this election is about freedom. Join me to restore freedom, revive our families, rebuild our economy, and to get us back to greatness. Visit DougForGov.com. That's DougForGov.com. And let's take our state back.
Paid for by friends of Doug Mastriano.
The Mechanical Services Company. Trusted, proven, preferred.
If you can fix the big stuff, you can fix the small stuff. The Mechanical Services Company has fixed HVAC systems large and small for over 100 years. For fair treatment, expert service, and affordable solutions 24/7, 365. Find them online at tmschvac.com.
The Mechanical Services Company. Trusted, proven, preferred.
Dad, why do your toenails look like that?
Hey, it's James, and if you're like me and suffer from toenail fungus, please pay close attention. Let's face it, toe fungus is embarrassing. I was afraid to take my socks off and hid my ugly toes from everybody. But nail fungus isn't just a cosmetic problem. It can also be dangerous. Even a small spot can spread and get worse. But no matter what I tried, it seemed like my fungus would never go away. Then I discovered Crystal Flush, the new and different FDA-registered at-home treatment. This unique two-step system flushes out fungus at its source and reverses damaged nails. Finally, me and thousands of others are free from fungus, and you can be too. Call now, and for a limited time, you can try Crystal Flush risk-free for 30 days. Call 800-354-1862. That's 800-354-1862. Eliminate your toe fungus once and for all, guaranteed. Call now, 800-354-1862. Or visit crystalflush.com.
Eager to continue your theological learning or engage more deeply with Scripture? Enroll as a non-degree or certificate student and take Greek or Hebrew online this summer at Pittsburgh Theological Seminary. Apply by May 20th. Visit pts.edu/admit.
Stop by Family Dollar for everything you need to celebrate Mom. Make her feel special with balloons, cards, sweets, decorations, and scented candles. So many ways to say I love you, all at great value. There's more for Mom at Family Dollar.
Is this the music you don't like?
Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
Like
I'm
what?
hanging at home.
She doesn't like a different one. You don't like this one either?
No, I don't like this one either.
All right.
What the heck? Is it time for a refresh?
I think I'm just.
I like this music.
Do you? I mean, I like some of it. I don't like that one.
Anyway.
Thanks for asking.
All right, that's Christy's new job to find new music.
Kath approved music.
Kath approved.
See, now that makes me sound like I'm so difficult to please.
Right. Kath, would this be okay for your ears? Would you? Oh, my ears are bleeding. I don't like. This music is so upsetting
You guys,
to me.
listen, if I
We
had
don't
my
say-
druthers, I'd do Earth, Wind, and Fire rejoinders every time.
But we wouldn't say Kath. We'd say, "Excuse me, Miss Emmons. I won't look at you. I promise not to have your gaze upon. I'll look down. But could you tell me if this music is appropriate?" Mm-hmm. Just kidding.
I'm not allowed to use Earth, Wind, and Fire.
You are not. No. We were talking about our pets the other day, and somehow we came up with, I had this dog one time that had a weird name. And so we were talking about the weirdest pet names that your pets have ever had, or someone you know who had a weird pet name. Because there's a lot of weird pet names.
There are. What's this dog you had?
When we were in college, we had a house on Brighton Road on the north side, 1212 Brighton Road, which was across from then Keystone Plumbing.
All right.
And we'd go into West Park, back and forth to town, walking into town all the time. And I found this little brown dog, and we put up little, signs for it. Nobody claimed the dog, so we kept it. And we didn't know what to name the dog. So one late night, we named the dog, and the dog's name was Schwanky. Hey, Schwank. Schwanky. And Schwanky was a good dog, but he had a nervous tick to him in that whenever he got anxious, he would run away and do a little tootie at the same time. So you wanted to be very calm around the Schwank. Hey, Schwank. Because then if he would get upset, he'd run and go, and you go, oh, Schwank, settle down in the living room, my friend, Schwanky. So I have a soft spot in my heart for the Schwank.
And how? What happened to?
What happened to Schwank? Someone claimed him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone said I lost my dog, and this is him.
And his name was not Schwank.
That's sad.
His name was Buster.
Okay.
But I think Schwanky fit him better. That was our made-up name for our dog.
Sure. Okay.
You have a weird name, Christy?
Obviously, Milo's not a weird name.
Milo's a great name.
Milo's a great name.
Yeah.
It's a regal name in some way.
A little bit.
Hey, Regal. Hey, Milo. Here's Milo.
My neighbors, if they're listening.
Uh-oh.
Very sorry, but they also have a mini dachshund.
Okay.
Her name is Cosmo.
Well, that's not a bad name.
I like it. No, it's a very odd name for a girl dog.
Oh, you think it should be a boy dog?
I think it should be a boy dog.
Oh, okay.
Cosmo seems like a boy dog name.
Is that like Kramer from Seinfeld? Right? Wasn't he Cosmos?
Yeah, that's right.
Cosmos Kramer.
Oh, that's right. Mm-hmm. See?
So yeah.
It needs to be a boy.
Okay. No, I understand that.
Is he jittery like Kramer?
Well, she's like 13, so a little bit.
Oh, no.
Okay.
13. No, the jittery's left.
She can barely get around, so she
Aw.
just like
Hey, Cosmos.
a little penguin.
Rough day there, my friend.
Sure.
Yeah.
Now, my one cat has an unusual name.
Well, here's the deal.
Mm-hmm.
People call their animals multiple names.
Yeah.
Like you have like 5 names for this.
Well,
this cat.
Burton Guster is his name because that's a character from Psych, which is
Burton.
one of the great TV shows of all time. Burton Guster is the lead character,
Mm-hmm.
played by DeLay Hill. And in the show, his nickname is Gus. But his full name is Burton Guster. So when we got the cat, he was a little kitten, and he had this tendency to kind of like he'd start to run, and then he looked like he was tap dancing. And so we were like, oh, it reminds us
Burton
of
Guster.
Burton Guster. And so that's what we named him.
But here's the weird thing.
But we call him Gus.
So here's the weird thing. At the time, my dog was still alive and well. Gus.
Gus.
All of a sudden, you get a cat, and what do you call the cat?
I know.
Gus.
It
I'm
was-
like, Kath.
I know.
What is the deal with that? How can we both have? You can't take that name and name the thing
I have
Gus.
to be honest. It was not. I wanted to call him Chester, but I was overruled.
Oh.
And so my husband and children named him Burton Guster.
Chester would be a good name because then you could Chet. You know, give
You
me
could do a lot of different things with that.
Chet. Hey, Chet.
Or Chess.
Chester. I had
Cherry.
a neighbor. I had a neighbor in college whose name was Chester.
I love that name.
Yeah.
I like
It's an
to name
unusual name.
cats the names you'd give to an old British man.
My friend Chester's here. Mm-hmm. There he is over, like your cat's in the corner in a smoking jacket
Right.
with a pipe, little ascot.
See, I like that a lot.
Yeah. Hey, Chester, how you doing? Or, is it like Chet Baker? He's kind of like,
That would be fun.
Oh, very nice.
My other cat's Princess Charlotte, named after the British princess.
And do you address the cat?
As Princess Charlotte?
Yeah.
No, we call her charcuterie.
Mm-hmm. Little slices of meat on a board.
She's super cute. So we call her charcuterie. And she is a princess. So I saw a dog online, 2 dogs, brothers online, Sherlock and Ripley Wigglebutts.
Now, come on.
I think that's awesome.
Now, no one's calling that dog Wigglebutts.
But it's good that they have full names, and I like that they're Sherlock and Ripley.
Are those purebred dogs? You have to do like that. You do that, purebred 15 names to show the
They
lineage.
do look. They could be purebred.
Yeah,
these dogs.
see.
They could
Right.
be.
That's what Milo is.
Oh, so
His name is Milo Henry.
Milo.
Oh, yes, I know
Henry.
the name.
Milo Henry.
Mhm. And he wears an ascot as well, right? Everyone's all of a sudden blue blood around here, right? We need some schwank.
I think Otis is a cute name.
Otis. Otis reminds me of the drunk on Andy Griffith.
Oh, I never saw Eddie Griffith.
Me either. I'm only 28.
Sorry.
Wait, seriously? I'm sitting in a room with 2 people who've never seen an episode of Andy Griffith, a TV
Never.
show.
Never saw it.
What? Neither of you?
No.
What are the odds of that? That's crazy. To say that I'm disappointed, I mean, I'm really
I mean, I've heard good things about it.
It's a fabulous show.
I've heard.
I mean, it's certainly dated.
Is that where they whistle on the intro?
Yes.
Let's see. That's
Andy
all
and
I know.
Andy and his son.
I don't even know
Opie.
that.
What?
No, I don't even know the whistling.
It's on TV all the time. How could you avoid that? It's more popular than Friends or
I don't have cable.
You can find it on YouTube.
Eh.
Oh, we have to watch a little Andy Griffith together, you
Do we?
guys. Yes, I think you do.
All
You're
right.
not an American if you haven't watched Andy
Oh,
Griffith.
wow. We just demoted.
I'm
Okay,
seriously.
so here's the thing. So next week, let's do it Monday or Tuesday. We'll watch a little Andy Griffith, and then we'll maybe do a video of us watching it and see what we think.
I'll give you like a couple of episodes.
Okay.
And it doesn't really matter. I mean, any episode is good. You don't know Barney Fife?
I know that name.
No.
Don Knotts?
I know who Don Knotts is,
But
but
you
I know
missed him.
Don Knotts from Three's Company.
Oh, that's a poor imitation, and I
Is
love
it?
Don Knotts.
Okay.
Yeah.
He guest starred on The Love Boat a couple times.
Of course he did. He had a stellar career, Don Knotts. I'm surprised by that. All right. I don't want to end on a down note here, you guys.
All of a sudden, the whole show's
Sorry.
turned to disappointment.
Give me some Schwanky love. That's all. Right?
Hey, the Pens are playing tonight. Game 2 against the Rangers.
Very good.
Deming in goal.
That's right. Milo has his collar on that's Penguins. He's ready
I love
to go.
that.
All right.
I love that. Raquel also out. DeSmith out. I mean, listen,
Puck
if
drops?
Deming could make this happen tonight, he'd be a cult hero in Pittsburgh.
Is it 7 o'clock?
7
Puck
o'clock.
drops?
TNT.
God bless us. Hey, thanks for being with us.
The Ride Home with John and Kathy, a production of Salem Media Group.